So we are doing kind of a feature bracket showdown in Google Ads. So we're going to talk about AI Max for search versus dynamic search ads. Of course, DSA is going away, but we'll talk about target ROAS versus max conversion value. And of course, we'll talk about shopping versus PMax.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's basically an elimination game, right? The sunset of DSAs is moved now to early 27.
Yeah, it was moved from September 26 to I believe, February, March of 27.
Which is a testament to this campaign type. I'm not trusting a company which is Nasdaq listed and aiming to max out the EBIT. The ROAS is the one thing I want to control by any means. And that's why, before we talk about technical details, that's why I'm a big fan of target ROAS here. For me, it's a no-brainer. It was quite a battle.
It was.
You made your points, and you smoked me with PMax.
Welcome to another episode of Growing Ecommerce. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mike Ryan, and with me,
Chris. Thanks for having me, mate.
Thanks for being here, Chris. We've got a good one. In the spirit of the World Cup, we're making it competitive. Okay? Yes. So we are doing kind of a feature bracket showdown in Google Ads. So we're going to talk about AI Max for search versus dynamic search ads. Of course, DSA is going away, but we'll talk about target ROAS versus max conversion value. And of course, we'll talk about shopping versus PMax.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's basically an elimination game, right? The better campaign advances.
Yeah, well, because then are we going to end up doing all the way through like
we could think about that. For today, we just do this one round.
Exactly. We'll do
and
one
then
round.
Let's see where we end up.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a good sign that I'm rocking the Austrian jersey.
Yeah, I want to say
how should I win this today?
Austrian's already been eliminated, sadly. But
but we fought our butts off and we won against a superior team.
Yes, you guys,
which was Spain.
Yeah, you guys did great. It was a really good show.
We did all right.
Yeah,
we did all right. I hope that when this thing is aired, that the US boys are still in the race.
I hope so. We'll find out.
We'll find out for sure. But I'm positive about them.
Yeah.
And I'm also positive about my chances today.
Really? Okay.
Really? That's fun. That's crazy to hear, right?
Because I feel pretty fucking positive about my chances, Chris.
Let's see. Look, you're Spain, I'm Austria. Let's see how this ends up. All right. So, Mike, with which do you want to start? And by the way, we have to, of course, be clear on which side we are, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's start with AI Max for search versus DSA.
Let's go for it.
All right. I'm AI Max for search, ladies and gents.
I'm on team DSA, even though it's a moot point. There's a technical disqualification here because it's being migrated, but all right.
Let's face it. But Mike, I mean, how in the world can you support a dying technology?
Well, again, it's a moot point, but on the pure technological premise, I think that DSA is tried and true. It's been working for years. It's more strictly bounded than AI Max for search because it's not going to look at your assets and stuff like this. It's really focused on your landing pages. It doesn't have this final URL expansion component, and it's been reliably generating new keywords for a whole generation of search marketers. It's a workhorse.
It's a workhorse. I co-sign that. For me, it's kind of this old, reliable Audi A3, but it's certainly not my self-driving Tesla I'm rooting for now. I think AI Max for search is basically incorporating all the positives of DSA, but has this extra layer of AI magic, which I think is getting better and better. And what I'm referring to here, and I want to be fair here. AI Max for search, we have been talking about it. The claims Google made were not completely true, which was basically that you get massive incremental revenue at the ROAS levels you face right now. But what I see across the board now, that this technology gets better, and it really helps you as an online retailer to get into this incremental revenue everyone is looking for. And that's clearly an advantage AI Max for Search has over DSA. That's what my claim is. It's the more up-to-date technology, and especially when it comes down to this incrementality, I think AI Max for Search is the better campaign, if set up the right way. This is the disclaimer I want to make.
Yes.
What is your take on that? I mean, do you prefer the old A3 versus the self-driving Tesla? You can't be serious about it.
I'm not as familiar with your European automakers. Or is it?
Let's rub it in, man. Let's rub it in. Let's see how long they will exist. But you know what? Take a Ford F-150.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say the Ford F-150.
If you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, DSA is a Ford F-150. No, so DSA, I hear you. I agree that in terms of doing new stuff and finding incremental opportunity, that definitely AI Max is stronger there. DSA was also doing that work. It was also an expansionary layer, but I would say it was kind of tethered or on a leash. It was just more kind of, you were a bit more in the steering wheel, stuff like that. So that would be a case there.
Okay. What about, and I know this comparison is to a certain degree unfair. What I also think, what I love about AI Max for Search is that it's and maybe it's not there yet, but we know for sure that these Gen AI surfaces are the new game. Google sees the future of search. And look, I mean, I want to join this party. And the AI Max for Search is the one big ticket to enter the chocolate fabric. Let's face it.
Yes.
You as a DSA fan, you are not allowed to join, man. You have to party in your old station wagon. Yeah. And I'm driving on the red carpet with my Tesla, and I can join this Gen AI surface, which I think will become more important. We talked maybe also about today about how this search behavior will change. And I think AI Max for Search is absolutely the core piece next to PMax, how to serve these new Gen AI surfaces. So I think it's a must for every retailer. It's a great technology, and Google will put a lot of energy and resources in it to make it even better.
All right. So I agree it's better suited for the AI era. And it's because of what we're talking about, that it's a bit more expansionary or untethered than DSA. The final URL expansion is the one that's hard for me to argue against, although it's a controversial feature. But we've talked in the past about this new relevance model where there needs to be this tight alignment between your, like the query, which as you said are becoming very complicated, the AI content now, the ad, and the landing page. Now DSA and AI Max for Search, they're both very much focused on the ad and the landing page. But with final URL expansion, I have to give some points to AI Max for Search because
it's a great worker.
It gives even more flexibility to make sure that the best landing page for that AI content and that very complicated query, that really the best landing page is selected. So you got me there.
Where you got me, actually, we haven't even talked about that. This reliable workhorse DSA has always been, and let's face it, still is. The fact that I think, right, they moved the sunset of DSA.
I was just about to bring this up.
This was your strong argument. I want to bring it up right now. It shows that this Ford F-50 is still a good car.
Yeah.
And I think this is a point.
Sorry, just spell that out. What? Because
the sunset of DSAs is moved now to early 27.
Yeah, it was moved from September 26 to I believe February, March of 27.
Which is a testament to this campaign type. However, the campaign type by design has no existence to to live forever because this access to this Gen AI surface is just prevented. I don't know if there's a specific reason for it, because again, the technology is working. Don't get me wrong, but that fact alone.
I'm going to keep mixing our metaphors here, right?
Let's go.
And you're a Boeing guy, so you'll be on.
Yes,
on board
I'm a Boeing guy.
Because in that case, DSA is kind of like what the Boeing 767 or something, and AI Max is like what the Dreamliner. What was it called?
The Dreamliner. Yes. By the way, I'm a 747 guy, man. This is unfair. You have me right now.
Man.
You have me right now. What can we agree on, man? I think AI Max for search, there's still a long way to go for this campaign type.
Yeah.
I think the claims of Google, which are 40% more revenue at constant ROAS levels, I think it's not appropriate. It's not meeting it. You have to be very careful with your setup, brand exclusions, and so forth. But I would make the case this is certainly one of the campaign types of the future, which Google will be doubling on, and it's getting significantly better.
Yeah, I mean, I guess anyway, but for technical reasons, AI Max Search is going to have to win this round. But the other thing that I would say is that it's a bit uncertain to me always how some of these campaign types play together. But AI Max for search and PMax, although they do some similar activity, I increasingly come to feel that they're complementary. Whereas I don't feel that way. We'll talk about shopping later, but I don't feel that way with shopping and PMax. And it's because this gives you a chance to still start with keywords. We know that AI Max, if you go all in on it, it's broad and it does this DSA and final URL stuff. But I still think that the keywords, even if they only then act functionally as a signal, that is your chance because, PMax by itself, we're mixing our campaign types now, but it won't have that knowledge. It's going to be sort of agnostic or very open-minded. It's going to look out there, see what search volume there is, and do its own thing with no keywords. But that AI Max for search campaign remains relevant because that's your chance to put your experience and knowledge and the things you want to target in there. So I think in that sense, the search part inside of PMax won't be that relevant if you've got a good AI Max for search campaign.
Which is the superior approach to having your search set up within PMax.
Yes.
Look, I mean, it might be a bit weak, but maybe we can agree on a draw. It's hard for me, man, because I like DSA.
I'm not calling it a draw. No, And
so, who advances?
AI Max for search.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much. But it was an unfair game, to be honest. Right? I started with 11 players and you're actually with 5.
Exactly.
But I made it, man.
Or it's like the referee already decided
it was
the game before.
It was a scripted WWE match.
Exactly. Yes, the best kind. All right.
So. Next one, which is I think a way more interesting one. Performance Max versus standard shopping.
Yeah.
I'm Camp Performance Max.
I'm a AI Max for shopping fangirl. So
yes.
I'm Camp Standard Shopping because how could you not be now?
How could you not be? And this is a tough one, man.
Yes.
I'll
let you dig your own hole first.
Yes, exactly. I don't want to dig my hole right away. So I think I would like you to start with the serving game, and then try to return as well as I can.
You effing coward!
Yeah, come on. Let's be smart here. Why is standard shopping the better campaign time?
Standard shopping now will have an extremely high amount of feature parity. In other words, equivalent features with PMax. And do you really want me to start, Chris? Yeah, listen.
Look, if it feels like 5-0 for you, maybe I just accept it and we let standard shopping.
If you want, because I love playing devil's advocate, so I'll jump on PMax later. But so that's the status quo. There are 2 huge upgrades coming to standard shopping campaigns. It's going to get text customization, which will allow you to have hyper-relevant titles to these increasingly long queries that we've been talking about. And it will also power new AI native ad formats. So those are very cool features right there. Additionally, this is a bit more controversial, but I actually start to think it's pretty cool. It's going to do also dynamic search ads and final URL expansion.
That's crazy.
And this is because, again, Google needs to make sure they're covering the landing page part of this relevance model that we're dealing with. We have a slide for that. Maybe we'll put that on screen once too. But they need to make sure that the right landing pages are being advertised. And it makes feed-based DSA, which is different than your landing page-based DSA. So it's not conflicting with your other activities. It's a net new activity. And this is just insane. So PMax will also have these features. I'm not saying that these are features exclusive to shopping, but it brings it at eye level. And another thing that brings shopping increasingly at eye level, there's a new attribute in Merchant Center, which is for your video links. So you can now have video assets in your shopping campaigns, which is going to be really important. So I have my opinions. I'll let you talk. Before I talk shit about PMax, I'll let you say something nice about it.
I try to be smart here now. My tactic.
And by the way,
another point. What you want to bury me right away, right?
I forgot to mention that. So it's not only getting upgraded like PMax, but it still has everything people love about shopping.
Yes, full controls.
Yeah, more controls, more granularity.
Yes.
So
I feel like Austria now, and you feel like Spain, and I will be smart now, mate. Could you bring up one good argument about PMax if you had to?
Yes, but that's not my job. I will.
Look, what I would like to make the case for is, I think by design, everything you said now is right, and let's face it, it's a substantial upgrade of a campaign type. Probably 1.5 years ago, a lot of people were maybe even, I don't know, seem to be. They predicted it's going to be sunsetted.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
we had conversations about it.
Yeah.
What we saw then in our MCC, hold on, it's not going anywhere. You have this cost share of 15-20%, and I think this, for whatever reason, forced Google to look at this campaign tab again and make it significantly more powerful.
Yes. Are you trying to score goals on yourself here?
On my own.
Where are you going?
Let this. I want to lure you in, man.
Okay.
I will strike back.
All right, I'm on board.
Yeah. I feel like, right? We're not friends now. We're not friends now. But look. So everything you said is true. What I still believe is that, and this is the case I want to make. I think by default, I can't argue anything against you, because by default, standard shopping has a right to exist now on eye level with PMax. But I think there's still, and I would even call it maybe 60 to 70% of the regular online player for which PMax is the significantly better fit. Why? Because it is this one-stop shop campaign type still. Standard shopping will never ever be. If I'm an online shop, responsible, head of paid media, and I want to get the most out of it, I want to understand my funnel, not even in detail. I just want to make sure that I play the full funnel to what I want to achieve with the least amount of efforts. For that use case, which is a quite dominant one, let's face it, PMax smokes standard shopping because it's the one-stop shop campaign type I can rely on. I think there are use cases for which standard shopping is the superior campaign type for the ones who are advanced, who want to be in control. Fair point. But I think the way more regular use case, and this is why Google will be doubling down on PMax for the foreseeable future, is this online player who just wants to play the full funnel to the best of their capabilities, and PMax is the way better campaign type for that use case.
All right. That's what you...
Man, I'm Austria. Look, give me something. I don't know if I scored, but give me something that there are use cases where PMax has the right to exist.
Listen, I'll tell you my PMax pitch, okay?
Okay.
So
you score on goal now? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that.
Listen, It's a conversation, all right? So I hear what you're saying about the one-stop shop, but in my opinion, that value proposition would be most useful to the whole SMB sector who don't want to manage 10 different kind of campaigns.
I was referring to that.
Yeah, but my problem, this is the paradox, is that they don't have the assets needed, by and large, to make PMax really fulfill
this
that.
full fun, yes.
To really fulfill that. And I wouldn't use the term
Not yet.
with AI and stuff like
Yes.
that. This could, Google has been, people have hated the auto-generated assets from Google for the most part, but as the tech gets better, this could become a reality. But I have always found that the people who would benefit most from PMax are least able to benefit from it. And the larger, that's that from my standpoint. But what I think is PMax's secret, if you can call it that, it will always or often outperform shopping because it has dynamic remarketing in it.
Yes.
And at this point, I see the main differentiator for PMax is the dynamic remarketing.
Yes.
And some people don't like that. There have been complaints that PMax has dynamic remarketing baked in, but I look at how cutthroat competition is, and I look at everyone having the same technological advantages with smart bidding, where if you're not getting in front of your customer, Google knows that this user has high propensity to buy, high AOV, whatever kind of demographic signals.
Has been looking at your product before.
Et cetera, yeah. And some other competitor is going to be there.
Yes.
And so I think that dynamic remarketing has real value.
Yes.
And it's the main thing you can say about PMax.
Yes, fair enough. And thanks for that. I don't know, maybe it's an assist, but...
you assisted me earlier with AI Max.
Thanks a lot, mate. But because this, and I look, I mean, with DSAs, we know they are sunsetted, but I think PMax versus standard shopping are true. And again, I don't want to come across weak now, but I really think it's not a versus. I think this is rather complementary if you set it up the right way. And hear me out, mate. What you said is absolutely true. Remarketing is this one big differentiator because it's coming out of the box and it's working. I think PMax is clearly the superior campaign type versus always standard shopping when it comes down to making sure that my high volume products, my top sellers, are maxed out.
Yes.
And especially with your top sellers, you shouldn't think for 1 second, just because of the fact that someone bought before that very product, and this person might even want to buy it again, that this is your client. It's not. Guess what? No, it's not. It has never been.
That's right.
So that's where PMax is superior to standard shopping, to make sure that your top sellers are really maxing out the market you might have.
All right. So there is the whole hybrid topic, which maybe we could call it a draw in that sense, but there's the hybrid topic.
Yes.
It's more important than ever if you want to run these things next to each other, because they're going to be doing even more activity, the same activity as each other.
More overlaps than ever. Yes.
That you really, I would say, before I would have probably said should not, but I really think cannot advertise the same product in both of these campaign types. I think there's probably nothing you can do to make that system safe enough, in my opinion. I don't know, I have to think about it, but you can just decide, hey, these are my products that I want remarketing on. PMax is great for that. These are ones I don't.
Especially for strategically important products, whether high volume products or maybe even, the whole long tail thing. I think standard shopping has a true case here. I mean, look, I give you that. No doubt about that.
Our biggest failure right now, Chris, is we don't have a referee, so we have to decide.
No, but I decide now. And I decide now, if you may. It's in your favor.
Okay.
I would give standard shopping.
I thought you were just gonna pull rank on.
No. I will give standard shopping the pass here, because look, I mean, the upgrades are substantial.
Well, the comeback. It's such an exciting comeback story. Everyone loves that.
Yes.
So yeah.
I would give standard shopping the nod here. However, I think it's rather a complementary thing if you do it correctly.
Yeah.
And man, I said it I don't want to come across cocky, but we were right again. That's why our shopping platform is capable to do PMax and shopping at the same time, because we said shopping is not going anywhere.
Yes.
It's a comeback for the ages, and I actually like it.
Me too.
For me, standard shopping, by the way, is the most successful campaign in the history of Google.
Well, keyword search. I don't know, man. But yeah, probably.
Discussion for next episode.
Yes. But you have to remember the keyword search covers more than just.
You're right.
So it's very big.
You're right.
So yeah. But
recency
from an e-commerce perspective, yeah.
Yes, that's true. So 1-1. Now let's go on to now it's on, mate. Now it's crunch time.
You only gave that one to me, so it's interesting.
Now it's crunch time.
All right.
Target ROAS versus maximize conversion value.
Yeah.
You're in camp?
I think I'm max conversion value, right? Good. Because I know you're a target ROAS guy.
I'm a ROAS fan. We had this discussion in the episode before. Look, maximizing conversion value literally means I maximize my conversion value without any ROAS targets behind it.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to a bar, Mike, and just told the barkeeper, you know what? Make it the best night in my life. Go for it.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Really? You did it? I've never done it that way.
My credit card limit isn't that high, man.
So, and I would like to start with that funny punchline, but it really feels like that, at least for me. The maximize conversion value thing sounds great on paper, but one thing is for sure, as much as I shared the flowers with and roses with Google the last maybe 12 months even, both of us, they did a lot of things right. I'm not trusting a company which is Nasdaq listed and aiming to max out the EBIT. The ROAS is the one thing I want to control by any means. And that's why, before we talk about technical details, that's why I'm a big fan of target ROAS here. For me, it's a no-brainer. I just don't trust Google enough to let this thing go.
Well, let's talk about that trust. So, by the way, this is hard for me because I actually am a huge tROAS fan. I'm playing devil's advocate here. But that isn't the basis. That's not, I don't want to give you ideas for what to say next about tROAS, but that isn't the main value of tROAS to me, because I think that if we look at max conversion value with no ROAS setting, you are never going to hit a ROAS of 0 or of 1 anyway.
True that.
This is not going to happen because this still exists within your addressable market, within the budget that you have available. These are constraints. And so basically what will happen is that you're going to get as much revenue as you possibly can with the demand that is available. And you will reach kind of the native or the naturally occurring ROAS. And it's not going to be 1. It's probably going to be, I don't know, 4. Or like and it will vary. It will vary per day. It's going to introduce more day-to-day volatility. I give you that in terms of your ROAS. But I think if you look on average across your month, the number's not going to be that bad or that fearful. And you are going to make sure, this is the demand-led philosophy.
Yes.
You're going to make, at that point, the budget that you have available and the demand that exists, it's going to pace itself. And you're going to get as much of it as you possibly could.
Okay. Fair point. I like it. Because we talk, and I want to pick it up right away. 2 things, actually. The volatility you were talking about. So I'll give you, there won't be a ROAS of 1 or 0.5, whatever it is. No. The ROAS will adjust to the demand which is available. And Google will try to meet that as good as well as possible. But, I mean, let's face it, the volatility we were talking about, I mean, I think you just wanted to talk very lightly about it. I think the volatility is a big issue, because the volatility within a month, I could live with it. Because if on average the ROAS is fine, I think it's fair. But who guarantees me that the next month will be volatile to the month before? So if I zoom out a bit, there's 1 month I have a ROAS of 4, the other month I have a ROAS of 5, the other month I have a ROAS of 3 again, because demand varies as well. That's the one thing I would like to counter here, argument here. And the second thing, Mike, is we have been talking about that for years now, that ROAS is the one major signal I give to Google. One of the major signals I have next to my campaign structure and my budget. Because Google is a transactional LLM in some case, and I want to prompt the shit out of it because I just don't trust it by default. And if I take away one of my 3 major levers I have, I'm not on my watch. I'm old school here. These are my 2 arguments.
Yeah, I mean, you have me here because this is the part of tROAS that I actually care about, is that it is a signal to Google. It's a way you can differentiate your campaigns and all kinds of stuff. And it can be that without that constraint in place, wherever the demand would take you would be
that's the thing.
Would not be your break even wouldn't be there. But I think to your point about zooming out a bit, I actually tend to think this is the productive way to look at ROAS if you don't have a target in place. Because if you look at the daily noise,
fuck that,
it's going to be spiky.
Yes.
If you zoom out to the week, if you zoom out to the month, it will smooth.
Yes.
By default,
sure,
you'll start to see the average.
Yeah.
And then what you start to see, to your point, in month over month terms and so on, this is ultimately the manifestation of your seasonality.
Yeah.
And so,
or just demand fluctuations, because let's face it, demand varies, right?
Exactly. So I'm not too troubled by that. I think zooming out is kind of healthy in that sense, but
the signal thing. Yeah.
I have to give you points that ROAS is there as, although it's imperfect, as we all know, it's what we have. It's there as a safeguard or a guardrail.
Yes,
and as a steering mechanism. I can't really argue with that.
Mate, I want to
listen. I think I scored a point that you don't have to fear.
Fair enough.
And you've scored a point that it's an important lever.
Yes, and I think the lever is more important than the fear. However, I'm biased here because I want to advance. What I want to say though is I'll learn from the best, from you. Because the target ROAS signal thing, right? I mean, this is one of the major point of views of this company, and we have developed features for that to max out this signal. How do you give the signal to Google? For that reason, Mike, I really believe that the demand-led thing is great on paper, but as an online player, D2C, multi-brand online store, doesn't matter. Don't give away the ROAS as a lever. Look, I mean, we might it be a draw, but this is a weak ass move, man. We can't end up with a draw.
I gotta.
We can ask our producers.
We could, but
what do you think, guys? Who won that one?
I would say tROAS.
All right. I don't know if that was picked up on the microphones. So producer Kevin says tROAS.
Yes.
Well, fuck.
Fuck.
I don't.
But you still have the US passport.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know if this.
4th of July was last week.
I'm still in 4th of July mode. No, thanks. It was quite a battle.
It was.
You made your points, and you smoked me with PMax. Unfortunately, I felt like this was a 2-0, 3-0.
Yeah, but do we have time for two, or do we save that for another episode? We had one more topic we're thinking about.
We're quite well into the time box.
Yeah, then we'll save that for next time.
Yes. Yeah. It was a pleasure, mate.
Likewise.
I felt the pressure.
Good game.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. So thanks, everyone. This has been another episode of Growing Ecommerce, brought to you as always by Smarter Ecommerce, also known as SMEC. You can learn more by visiting smarter-ecommerce.com. And as always, especially in the comments, let us know what's goals did we miss, or what points could we have scored? How do you see this shaking out? I would love to see that. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.